what's up? Welcome back to another video. I know y'all are excited for this one. I'm gonna give you the 411 on what city I ended up picking today, right now, in this video. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. First, let me go over the main reason why I moved out of my Brooklyn basement 1-bedroom apartment. I have been wanting to move out of New York for the longest. If you've been around, then you already know the deal. I was even thinking about this video that I did a while back on my channel. It was a mukbang and I was eating pizza and I was sitting on the floor. And I was basically telling y'all that how I wanted to move out of New York and, you know, I just wasn't happy there. Even last year I did I think it was my 2020 goals, my New Year's resolution, yes. I was thinking about that video too and I was like, man, like I really said that that was one of my goals, was to move out of New York, and look at me, like I did it. So I've been wanting to do that for a really long time and it finally happened. However, it was not a 100% planned, and I really wanted to share this with y'all because, you know, the way that the universe works is really incredible, and our thoughts really, our dominant thoughts really play such a huge role in our lives. You know, what we see, what we get, what we're experiencing, and things like that. And it was a dominant thought of mine for a very long time. Obviously, I was speaking about it, I was acting on it. Basically, it just was in my mind like 24/7, you know. So things that you really focus on a lot is what you're really going to see show up in your reality. And it's really important to really be careful, be mindful of your thoughts and what you're thinking, because like I said, when I tell you guys what I'm about to tell you, you'll really understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. First of all, that apartment, it was obviously a basement apartment, and it had a lot of dust in there and I honestly hated it. I remember even writing something on Snapchat and I was asking people, I was like, how often do you have to keep on dusting stuff out? You know, like dusting off things in your house, because that's one thing I realized down there in the basement. It was collecting so much dust, and I realized that like the way that my bedroom was facing the driveway, so every time a car would go in or out, like obviously I would pay attention to stuff like that, you know, and I would think to myself like, man, like I'm breathing in all that dust, you know what I'm saying? So all that dust from just the cars passing, you know, I couldn't really leave my window open, and even if I did, it didn't really even matter, honestly, because the dust would seep through the cracks. Windows weren't like sealed completely. So yeah, when I wrote that message on Snapchat, like everyone kept saying, yeah, they do have to, but came to realize it wasn't the same. I realized that after a while, I was like, nah, this is not normal. Literally every day I felt like I had to, you know, clean up like a whole thing of dust, and it was just like so annoying. And then ever since obviously I moved here, I don't have that problem. Obviously you need to sweep and clean, but not every day you're gonna see like a big chunk of like black dust like all over the place, you know. So that was just like one of the main issues. It was just like so annoying. Even my Alex drawer, remember my Alex drawer that I had all my makeup in and stuff like that? When I tell you, I had like a mirror, like a handheld mirror, and every time I would go into the Alex drawer and I would just like open it, and I remember cleaning it, so I know it wasn't bugging. So when I cleaned it and put it back in there, it would still be dusty, and I'm like, damn, it's crazy. Like I'm literally breathing this in. So I started to really get concerned about that because I knew it could not be healthy. Even on my bedside, like around the bed frame area, especially, I had a wooden one at the time, so I could, you know, just use like a tissue and some spray or something and like kind of clean it. But when I cleaned it, it was just like so much dust, and I'm like, man, like this is getting on my bed, you know. It was just like too much. Main reason why I ended up moving so fast. One day, I don't even remember exactly how this, I don't remember the detail for detail, but basically I went into the kitchen, okay, one day. First of all, NYC is filled with rats and mouses, right? When I first moved, yes, I did notice there was some mouse in that apartment, but it was bearable. Remember all my stuff, like when I first moved in, I was kind of, I was kind of tight. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was really kind of tight at first, but I kind of just bared with it because I'm like, what, I just did move here. Like, what am I gonna do? Whatever. But like I said, it was bearable. First, when I first moved in there, when I had all my bags and stuff, they rattled through it, and then that's how I realized, like, dang, there's mouses in here. And then they went through like the bags and stuff, and that's how I really kind of noticed it at first. But after, like, I got everything together and I started to decorate and organize and everything like that, I realized they went away. When I tell you, I was so happy, everything was fine, they was nowhere in sight, so I was happy. I was, living my life, carrying on, all that shit-azzle, right? So anyways, fast forward now to the couple months before I ended up leaving. One day, I believe this is how it goes, don't quote me, okay? But I believe I was in my room, and they never really came in the room. It was mostly like in the kitchen area. My kitchen and my living room was together. So anyways, I heard, rattling through the stuff in the kitchen, whatever. So I go into the kitchen, bruh. When I tell you, it wasn't no mouse no more, okay? It was not no mouse no more. This was a huge rat, all right? And that was it. That was it. I was like, like, I cannot. When I tell you, it skeezed me out. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. I was so upset. I was like, I cannot stay here. Like, I literally have to get up out of here. This is what I want to show y'all, right? Is the fact that what you really think about, 9 times out of 10 is going to come about. And as humans, this is just how we are naturally, I feel. Because it's just like, if something bad doesn't happen or something that really shakes us up, we're not going to really move. It's just a really backwards mentality that we have. I told my landlord, he didn't really want, honestly, nothing to do. He didn't want to fix up anything. He didn't want to, try to get those spray people, to spray out whatever, like in those, what are they called, But anyways, he didn't really want to do any of that. He wasn't rude or anything about it. He basically was like, the best thing to do is move. Knowing that he was going to sell the house, he just didn't want anything to do with it, which is understandable. I get it. But if I didn't have, my credit together, if I didn't have a little savings, then what would I have? I would have been mad, because at this point, where am I gonna go? This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, that it's just very, very, very funny how the universe works. Something will just really push you to your last straw to make you really move, and it's only for your own good at the end of the day. I always say this. This leads up to now the main event, the main question. Where did I move to? I had no idea about this city at all. I'm gonna just keep it all the way 100. I had no idea. I obviously know no one here. I just picked up and said, I'm gonna move here. Personally, for me, I'm paying attention to my growth. I'm paying attention to things I like, what I love to be around, what excites me, how the environment that I'll be able to thrive in, etc., etc. All the positive things I'm thinking about that's going to help me grow. So that was my main concern. That is honestly my only concern, to be quite honest. So what I did was I tried to narrow down states that I thought that were going to be fitting for me. My main thing was I did not want to go from a bigger city to another big city. That was just a no-no. So cities like Houston, Dallas, LA, those were like all out of the picture, even though those are like warm cities. And even Miami, and I know you guys, I said that I would love to live in Miami, and I even questioned this to myself the other day, and I said, you know what, I fell in love with Miami when I went to Miami. You guys saw in the vlog, I literally fell in love. Like, it feels like, in Jamaica, whenever you go to like Negril, to like those resorts, Montego Bay resorts, that's the kind of vibe that it gave me when I was staying in the hotel. The wind, the breeze, it's crazy. It just literally gave me that vibe, and it reminded me of the Caribbean. The beaches in New York were nothing compared to Miami. So when I went to Miami, that's another thing that I realized as well. It looks like a Caribbean beach. And literally near the Caribbean. The Bahamas is like a couple minutes away. So everything really was just like, wow, like making me so excited and so happy. And I'm like, wow, I could really see myself living in Miami. However, it was a big city. Not to mention, it definitely, the cost of living in Miami, looking at apartments there was definitely out of my range, out of my budget. So what I did was I honestly just Googled smaller cities and this one popped up, and I booked my flight and I looked at how much the apartments were going for. I knew what I wanted, I know what I didn't want. I knew that coming from that basement apartment, I did not want to be in a certain type of living environment. I wanted something nice and clean. I wanted to be able to breathe in fresh air, even though that's another issue, you know, outside, because they spray the air out here with chemicals. That's another thing too, man, because all of the insects and stuff that they have, obviously it is the South, so they have a lot of you know, they have a lot of insects, so they have to spray the air in order to keep those under control. I really felt like I was in such a hurry because of what I saw. It wasn't quite planned out the way that I would have wanted it to be. Obviously, you guys only saw me go to one city, to go to a few different cities, just to kind of weigh my option, you know, see the environments and things like that. I didn't really get a chance to do that. I kind of just, it was one of those where I kind of just picked a place. It was okay with me. I did my research on it. That's one thing I don't play with. I did my research to make sure that the area was safe. It was really, it really was. Just to keep it all the way honest, it was a rushed move, and that is basically how I ended up here. Everything happens for a reason, and at the end of the day, I don't feel any way about it, you know, like everything happens for a reason, and I trust God, I trust in the timing of things. So the city that I ended up picking is, drum roll please. So the city that I ended up picking is Savannah, Georgia. I am in the Peach State. It's a big city, but it's tinier compared to New York. It is definitely a touristy city. I realized that after I tried to rent a freaking car. Because at first, before I got my car, I was thinking about renting a car, and I called car dealerships and they were all sold out. Like, that was something so weird to me. I'm like, how the hell all y'all are sold out? Like, that was just crazy. So yes, it is a big city, but coming from New York, it's definitely a smaller city. This is where I ended up, you guys. You guys know that I really wanted to be a warm state. Like, that was the thing too. But funny enough, it wasn't really even quite warm when I got here. Y'all see me rocking my coat, my jackets, and all my big stuff, and I was just like, that was one of my main concerns too. I didn't want to go from a cold city to a cold city. It's really funny because I do encounter someone and I have a conversation with them. They will tell me that this is, you came at a time where it's never really this cold. Like, it literally, when I moved, because I moved in January, and it was like freezing. It was like 30 something degrees. It's supposed to be a warm state, you know, like Florida, Georgia, LA. But that's one of the reasons why I even came here in the first place. I was in a funk a little bit about that. Now, I mean, it's about to be summertime. Obviously, it's gonna get hot, so it's been consistently hot. It's been in the 90s here. Definitely a change of environment. I really wanted a quiet city, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it's not used to a lot of different things, you know, coming from Brooklyn, where it's a lot more louder, it's a lot more activities, it's a lot more livelier. Here it's it reminds me of Tampa. That's actually the first time that I really started to see, like, dang, like, every city is different than New York. Literally, like, New York is like the party city. It's the life of, it's a life city. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is live 24/7, and here it's definitely not. Like, even in the daytime, you would be hearing like music blasting and stuff like that. Even in the cars, like, I don't be hearing people blasting music in their cars. Like, I feel so uncomfortable sometimes. I'm like, It's really weird. It's definitely an adjustment. It rains a lot here. It's like really weird too. Like y'all will see in some of the vlogs. I'm sure I'll catch some clips. It's just really weird because sometimes it'll be like raining and then 2 seconds it's sunny again. It's just like really weird. It's the perfect time now. It's about to be summer and I get to really explore the city. I get to, you know, check out what the city has to offer. So excited to be taking y'all along and showing y'all around Savannah, Georgia. I know you guys are gonna be excited too because it's definitely something different. It's a historical city. They call it the Three Sister City. It's one of 3 sister cities. That's what I read. 3 sister cities are Savannah, is it Charleston, South Carolina? Oh, and that's another thing too, you guys. I'm not so far from South Carolina, so I do want to go to South Carolina as well, just to kind of explore there as well. So I'm really excited. So it's Savannah, Charleston, and I think it's Charleston, but it's somewhere in South Carolina, and also New Orleans. And you guys remember I went to New Orleans as well in a couple vlogs. I think last year I went to New Orleans. So that's one thing I realized, that it definitely looks a lot like New Orleans. It has that older feel to it. I did go to the beach once before, but I didn't end up staying because it was cold. Like it was warm. It was like probably about like 80 degrees, but you know, whenever you're by the water, it's like 10 degrees lower, so it made it feel like 70. So I literally just got some food and then I drove back home. I'm just so excited, you guys. So welcome to Savannah, Georgia. That is pretty much it for this video. I am so excited to get the vlogs out. I am so excited to explore. I'm so excited for y'all to see. I am just like super excited. Mwah. See you next time.